Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode here with my good Beth English and I. We're going to talk about today 5 email ideas for those times where like you don't know what to say, you don't know what to send, maybe nothing's happening at the moment, but you really want to send an email to your audience, but it's like, what should I do? What should I say? So we're going to give you today 5 different ideas that you can use, for the future.
Resources, inspiring interviews, business practices, and practical advice to take your art career to the next level. Join Sergio Gomez in today's Artist Next Level and get ready to take control of your career.
Sure. So how are you, Beth? Have you been in those situations where like, I don't know what should I do next? What should I send as an email? To your subscribers? I think it has happened to all of us at some point.
Of course it has. I mean, we don't want to feel like we're saying the same thing over again.
Exactly.
But oftentimes, like our business model, we have the same things to say over and over again. So we have to find, creative ways to, show up for people. And I always just like to think of how can I add more value into people's lives and just kind of start from there. But I can't wait to hear what your 5 tips are because I will be taking notes and we'll be using them.
No, this is good. This is actually a topic that happened from last week from my coaching program. We were chatting about email newsletters, and all those things and the tone of a newsletter and all these things. And, often we were sharing how sometimes like, well, I don't know what to say, or sometimes because we see other artists like having a very professional email and, with a lot of events happening or a lot of things like, well, what if nothing like that is happening to me right now? You have this pressure. It has to be like the perfect email or full of announcements or full of great things. And it's not always the case, right? Sometimes, as we learned last week, we need a break. And I think our audience might also need a break. And so I'm going to give you like 5 things. So the first one, I think, and these are all 5 things that I haven't tried them all. So I'll tell you which ones I haven't tried. And I was thinking about it. I'm going to try them because I like this idea. So the first one is one that I have done multiple times is to share my story. Just an email that doesn't sell anything, doesn't sell my art, doesn't sell anything. It just shares my story. And the whole email starts with, let me tell you a little bit of my story. Because a lot of people may know you as an artist, may follow you as an artist, but they don't know your back-end story. And that's not your bio. They can find your bio on your website. It's like you're really heartfelt, in just a few words, your little emotional story. And I think that's an email that when I've sent those, I've gotten a lot of reply from those, or great responses from those. How do you like that one?
Yeah, of course. I'm like already brainstorming ways that I can even just like create an email sequence for new people who join my list so that I'm, getting that out there. Cause I think it's so important when people understand why you're doing what you're doing, because that creates that sort of heartfelt connection at the very beginning.
Yeah. And I think, sometimes we feel like, oh, well, my story is not very interesting or anything like that. You'll be surprised, when you open up a little bit and you talk about your story, your high points, your low points, and then you end with a positive note, the magic that will do with connecting with your audience, as Beth said. So that's number 1, use your story. The second one, do a heartfelt open letter to your audience. And this is one that I have seen a number of my artists that I'm coaching have done in the past. Actually, last year, there was a specific story that I loved. One of our artists, he didn't know what to send. So he was in his bicycle, he stopped by the beach, and he wrote a really personal open letter to his audience. No sales letter. He didn't click here to buy, nothing, just an open, nice letter. Well, he reported then the next week that after he sent that email, he actually made his biggest sale ever. One of the people that was in his list replied, just was curious about what he was doing because of what he shared, this open letter, and decided to buy one of his biggest pieces. It's incredible, how a non-sales email that's just an open letter of opening your heart to what's going on in your life right now can really connect to someone enough to say, well, let me see what you are doing, just because you're opening up to me. How you like that?
Yeah, you cannot fail with vulnerability.
Right.
If you open up, you're inevitably going to reach someone who needed to hear that message. And then they're going to connect with you in a really powerful way. So if there's a vulnerable story that you want to share, I would just encourage you to think about how that feels safe for you and how you would like to do that, and just go ahead and try it and see what happens.
and gives you permission that you don't have to announce something, a show or an event or a new artwork or whatever. It's just
Right.
an open letter. It's like if you're just
Mhm.
writing to a friend. So
Mhm.
I have tried that one. Now the third one I have never done, which I think I would like to do, is to write an email that is a frequently asked questions. Like, what do you think people might want to know about you as an artist? Maybe pick 5 things that you think people might be interested on reading about you. Maybe one of those things could be something that you are also interested that has nothing to do with art. Like, did you know that I also blank, uh, or find some facts, convert them into frequently asked questions. And even if you want to make one of them, like, how do you best way to purchase your art? You want to make one into kind of a side hook into your artwork. Of course you can do that. But I think that would be a kind of a fun email to send out, and play with those questions, because you will be asking your questions, you will be answering the questions too. And I think your audience might get a nice kick to getting to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, we always want to know a little bit more about the person behind the name in our email inbox, you know? So that would be fun to read about. I mean, I'd like to know more about you, Sergio, just from this perspective. Like,
Right.
what are you telling people that maybe you think they don't know, and
Exactly.
how interesting that can be? So that's a great tip.
Yeah, that's a good one. So I'm gonna do that one. I haven't, like I said, I have never done that one. So, all right, another one which I have never done, which I would love to do, and that's why this episode is also for me. It's not only for friends, it's only for me, because I sometimes need this too. So this one I thought about: what if you do an email where you pick like maybe the 3 or 4 or even 5? I would say no more than 5 artworks that might make that have made the biggest difference in your art career. In other words, when you look back at everything that you have produced as an artist, what are the 4 works or 5 that have really changed your career, or have changed your perspective, or have teach you something new? Or if you were to pick out of everything just 3 to 5 works, which ones would you pick, and maybe why? That could be a really nice, interesting email in which you take people through a narrative with just short text and then an image. Everybody likes images. So kind of going back and pulling your way through the present.
I love that because then it shows people sort of some anchor points in your life that have made an impact. And I think when we tell that story, we also invite other people to take risk in their own careers, to
Mm-hmm.
think about like, well, what am I doing to create these shifts or to create the kind of impact that I want? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, I really like that one.
Yeah, and what's fun about it, that one, if any of those works are still available, of course, you can link them to your website. So, and I think somebody might connect with an older work just because it's a work that really was special in your career. It's a keystone work, what I would call keystone work,
Mm.
in your career. And now somebody, because they hear a little bit of that, like, ooh, that might be a good opportunity to bring some of those golden nuggets back in view of the audience. And then the last one, so that's number 4, the last one that I have done multiple times, is to ask your audience a question. Ask
Mhm.
your audience a question and then be open to the responses. So I have done that a few times where I ask just one question. The email only has one question, has no sales thing, has nothing, just one question. And I openly say, hey, you guys, I would love to hear from you on, for example, I have asked, why did you decide to join my list? Or what do you see in my work? Or what makes, what kind of feelings, how would you describe the feelings you get when you see my work? Things like that also help me understand how people see me and how people see my work. And sometimes you'll get good responses, sometimes might not, but you'll always hear from somebody for sure. When you ask a question, somebody will
Mhm.
take the time to answer, and that answers could be really interesting.
Yes, I always love hearing from my audience when they reply to my emails. And
Mhm.
I hold them really special because they're the ones who are, taking the risk to connect and reach
Right.
out, which I think is an important thing that we do continuously put into
Mhm.
practice, reaching out and connecting with others, especially someone you look up to and are getting really great content from.
Right.
So, and we're always there reading on the other end. Like, don't think that we're not there because we are.
Absolutely. So, my friend, that kind of gives you 5 minute review and really quickly. But then we close this episode. The first one, you can do an email that tells your story. Second one, you can do a heartfelt open letter to your audience. Third one, you can do a frequently asked questions type of email. Number 4, you can do an email that picks that or selects your 3 or 4 or 5, most important pieces in your career. And number 5, just ask a question. Just send an email that just ask one question, and that's it. So hopefully, my friend, that kind of give you some ammunition for those times in which you have no idea what to send, what to say, and or maybe when you might want to kind of shake the boat and people already know what to get from you, they're already expecting the same thing. Sometimes it's good to break things, change the mold so that you wake up people and they can re-engage with you once again. So hope you enjoyed this episode. And Beth, where kind of friends can connect with you?
You guys can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Beth English. That's BETHINGLISH. Check out the link in my bio so that you can learn more about my program that I offer and my artwork that I make and all the ways that you can follow me on social. It'd be really fun to chat with you too. So send me a DM if you have any questions. I would love to be able to connect. What about you, Sergio?
Awesome. And make sure you guys check out last week's episode where Beth talked about, and we both talk about, the taking a little break when we feel overwhelmed. It's a great episode. You gotta check it out. Well, you can find me anywhere on social media, particularly Instagram, Sergio Gomez Art. Click on my profile link. You'll find links to everything that I do, from my website, my coaching program, and my art, and I think that's it. And maybe other things that I might be promoting at the time. So thank you guys for watching this. We hope to see you next week. Have a great time, and have a great fun also with your emails. They could be really fun. They don't have to be always a task. It could be something fun you can do. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Check out our website at www.theartistnextlevel.com, where you will find our podcast library, learn about our upcoming webinars, find resources relevant to your career, and much more. Thanks for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you at the next level.